A very, very good evening from Super League HQ. Fifey here, and apologies in advance if I sound a little bit awkward this evening. 15 minutes before the live show came on, I was messing about with Aidan, and he inadvertently kicked me in the mouth, and I'm now bleeding from the tongue. So if I disappear at any point, I've gone to spit up some blood. But never fear, because holding the whole show together live from Edinburgh's finest public transport is Mr. Campbell. How are you, pal?
How you doing, Fifey, mate? Again, apologies in advance for any interference or that, but I wasn't well at the side, so you're on Edinburgh's finest LRT bus.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you on, and let's face it, last time you were on, and it was a tour of Edinburgh. It was great value entertainment between the bus journey and the Maverick cars that were beeping at you as you were walking down the road. So I'm looking forward to another night's glorious entertainment north and south of the border. Let's have a quick look. It'd be rude not to start by looking at the table. Joint top, mate. Joint top.
It's good, isn't it? It's lovely to see that. In fairness, we've been there most of the season. It's a bit of a strange feeling for us, but no, I could stare at that all night. Couldn't have asked for a better start, mate.
No, it's been absolutely fantastic, and for all the neutrals involved, an absolute joy to watch. It's always good to see new teams, making a stand. It's just whether you can maintain it over the course of a season now.
That's it, mate. Well, I know there was a lot of talk about our defensive unit, how would we perform with them, but we've had them miss in a couple here, a couple there. We've never had the three out in one game, but so far we've managed with the guys that came in. But it's just that it's more the fact that we're sneaking 1-0s, we're scoring all the goals, which has always been our historically our kind of issues to score goals, and it seems to have just clicked. Whether it will remain and whether we'll be able to keep the pace going remains to be seen, but I'm just enjoying the ride at the moment. It's all good in Edinburgh.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. Now, so all being well, we will conclude this evening with Haggis versus Gazelles. Now, Martin has handed the reins over to Dan this evening, although I need someone just to check on him if possible, because he's been having issues finding the chat when watching it on YouTube Live. Apparently he watches the episodes but struggles to find the chat. So hopefully he will appear in time to make any subs. I have been asked, because of sickness within the home at Mr. Campbell, if we can kick things off with Dragons trip away to Dudley. Any adverse to that?
No, I'll just go with it, mate. You just lead the way, my man. Lead the way.
Well, let's start with the Dragons then.
I can't see the chat either, by the way. So I'm going to go to the chat.
Nah, don't you worry, mate. I'll let you know if anything of any importance gets said. There's just a lot of people saying hello to each other. Greavesy saying bloody bus wankers, and Rob saying he loves Campbell on tour, but is there an English translation? Evening Swanee, evening Rodeo, evening Mike, who's there as well. Seen a lot of familiar names. Evening Jens, who's made it in. Everyone's turning up. Let's have a look at Dragons then, who have been on a really bizarre run of form and luck these last couple of games. Last time out, they got absolutely hammered 4-1 by Gazelles, a result not many, if anyone, saw coming. And that was a absolute stellar performance, really, from Gazelles. Then they had the 1-1 with yourself the game before, where you had 9 men.
The Dragons, it's been a bit of a funny start. I think if Duggan's being honest, he'd be probably a bit disappointed with how they went. That game in particular for us, I think you need to be getting something. I know we maybe rode a look a bit, 15 shots and that, but they never really looked in that much danger. They've just not really got going. I see he's moved Veron back to centre mid, which I think is his best position. I like the look of that, what he's went with there. Baumer, I've tried to get to Dragons for a long time. Obviously, I know what to let him go. David's maybe underperforms a bit, but when you watch Galco there, I think Dragons will definitely maintain the push for the playoffs, will kick on, but they've maybe just not got going. I think that's the best way I could describe them. But when you've got Shigalko there, I mean, his stats are looking pretty good. Kelme's one who, no really for me. Boyer obviously is a star. So this is going to be an interesting one. The Dragons, I think, if they can get Shigalko scoring, they're going to be there or thereabouts top six, definitely.
Yeah, they certainly have a top six capable team. As for Dudley Hill, they go back to the formation they played against you in a previous season when it was game week 1. And an interesting couple of personnel changes. You'll notice they've got no Thuram tonight, no Ferdinand, Alessandro still unavailable as well. So they've had to mix it up a bit. So we've got Luca Toni leading the line with Mendonca, Roy Mackay in behind. Johnson's back in the team in centre midfield. And then a more familiar looking defensive midfield line, although Addo's had to drop back due to the lack of options at centre back, with Johnson filling in defensive midfield.
I think a bit like ourselves. This is definitely testing the depth of Dudley. Moving, I love Addo. He's quality. I mean, I don't know if you remember, I was playing him at left wing back. I think it was in the Lothian direction, and he done absolutely fantastic. He couldn't really play anywhere. Him and Neville at the back, it's okay. Whether it's Super League standard, like if you could roll with that, I'd maybe question it. Johnson's one of them. It's just one of Steve's players, you know. Jacks is a Scot post up there. Andy Johnson, he's average, so I would say a bit of his stats in that. Mendonca, I'm not a huge fan. Roy Mackay obviously can do a job, but this is a tough one for Dudley, as it's going to test their depth. They're there or thereabouts as well, aren't they? I mean, he's going to be relatively happy with where they are, I think.
And a score prediction from you, please.
I'm going to say a score draw here, 2-2.
Obviously, you would pick a draw when we showed the stats. There's never been a draw between these two sides. I like it. A maverick start on your part.
I'd love to say I'm not a fan of it.
We've kicked the action off, and it's already more entertaining than Dudley's last outing in the Super League. And there's a massive injury early doors as skipper Edgar Davids is taken off the pitch on 26 minutes. You imagine Saeed's the obvious option here to replace him, but that's going to be a big loss for Dragons, isn't it?
And saying that, I mean, looking at his bench, that's a pretty good bench for Dragons. I know Duggan really emphasised that the first 11, that's what he went for. He went balls deep in Simons and that. But just looking at his bench, I mean, there is depth there. So obviously it's going to be Saeed coming in, and again he's one I like. Moret is there to maybe mix up that. But remains to be seen. Boyer on a 6 would be a bit disappointed with that, but it's early doors, man. Early doors.
Jens is very disappointed that he's having to watch tonight's show with no sound when you're on commentary. Everyone loves hearing the accent as well as the insight, of course. 34 minutes on the clock, still 0-0 in this one. Dragons don't seem to have been thrown too much by Davids being taken off the pitch. And they're on with an opportunity there. But we reach half-time in the first game of the evening, and Dragons have absolutely dominated. Dudley were poor last time out on Sunday night, and they've been poor again tonight, Ian.
They are. When I was watching the comms, it wasn't it looked Dragons had the better, but again, when you got all the shots on goal and you've no scored, I would always worry, especially sitting at 0-0, and Dudley are more capable of nicking a goal here. Start-wise, a bit meh. I mean, his midfielder doing all right, but Johnson, I assume that he said that this is sort of Joey's last chance to perform, and he's on an 8 so far, so...
Yeah, defensively, they certainly look strong. It's the further forward where they need to react, really. Although it could be when we flick over to the other side that we find that Dragons are just absolutely dominating in those areas, which we'll find out shortly. Also, just looking at it, I'm not sure what you feel, but seeing Joey Johnson now already dropped down to 83 and Liza Azul on 84 might be a fitness condition to consider, maybe at least going into the 60-minute mark. Switching over, you mentioned Balmer in the intro. and Sigalko. They were two of the three players you spoke about, and they're the two highest rated players in that first half for Dragons. I saw Duggan commented in the chat that Sigalko had so many chances. He had 4 of the 6, 3 of them on target, just failing to score. It's interesting because everyone has such high expectations for him. Any other striker, 5 in 10 would be considered decent, but he does seem to miss an awful lot of chances, doesn't he? It was the same with Northern Burn last year.
It does, mate, but I think he's just one of them that if he's fit, you've just got to go with him. And I think he is best when he's on up front. But I mean, if it gets to the stage that he really is costing Dragons games and he's maybe going to look at it, I think you've just got to roll with him if he's fit. And he's got more entries there. There's another chance, right? But that's fluid, isn't it?
Yeah, we've reached a 60-minute tactical break. There was only one real attack of note in that half. Johnson's fitness continues to drop like a stone, and Steve pointing out how fit the Dragons side looked in comparison. Dudley have to mix this up a little bit to stem the tide and try and go for that winner. Saviola and Inzaghi both on the bench, so there's certainly options. Do they go 2 up top with 1 in behind maybe? But there's certainly options there, and this is where Steve earns that championship money.
I'd be surprised if we didn't see at least Saviola coming in, maybe a couple of arrows even. I don't know what the ratings are like on Mendonca and Mackay. Tony and disappointing a 6. Andy Johnson on a 6 as well. I'd be surprised if we didn't see at least Saviola here, to be honest with you. He's got to do something. He's got to go for it.
I'm interested to see what happens with Luca Toni because Steve, he was one of the players of the season last year, and already at times this year we've seen Steve drop in. He's only scored 2 in 10 thus far. Are we sort of questioning his position within the Dudley Hill team here?
I think Steve would be open to moving him on if the right offer came in. He's one I would definitely have discussions about. I quite like him, but there we go. That makes sense. But I think Steve's maybe running out of patience. He's going to he's one of them. He's a bit streaky as well. I personally would roll with him and maybe Saviola, but Steve knows what he's doing. He's the reigning champion, so.
Well, Luca Toni has been replaced by Saviola, and they are going 2 up top with 1 in behind. Johnson, one of 3 players rating a 9, and is being left on despite that slight fitness concern. Let's have a look at the Dragons side. Still seem to be dominating, but not scoring. Decent ratings throughout, nobody below a 7. And fitness still perfectly adequate. So the only thing this performance is missing is a goal. Zidane is there, potentially can have one of those games where he could create something. Morientes there as well.
I think he's personally. I think he should match up with what Steve's done and go with 2 up top. Morientes and Sigalko. I think that it's in the balance this game. I think it could go either way. A goal might decide it. I did have a score draw on the cards, but I think possibly the next goal might win it. So I think Zidane wouldn't be one. I'm not a big fan of this Zidane. I know you're neither, like.
No, not in the Super League either. But interestingly, he's come on for Aquelme and a tactical switch here with Ortega dropping back to right wing back. But no sign of Morientes despite the need for a goal. Let's resume the action as both managers are happy. Another 10 minutes fly by with nothing happening. Sigalko misses another opportunity, and you just fear if Dudley Hill can get the 1, then it could be enough, because Dragons are having another game where they're just failing to convert these chances. Into the final 10 minutes, we've slowed down the commentary. Absolutely nothing happening up to this point, but now Dragons on the counter. 2 minutes being added on. We're into those 2 already. Maybe a last-minute effort. Neville, Zanetti. And in injury time, last kick of the game, the defending champions score. Unbelievable scenes at the Neil Hunt Memorial Ground. And there's absolute limbs in the home end. Duggan is going to feel as sick as everyone else in his house tonight. The reaction from my co-commentator on the bus, I mean, people would normally try and stay quite unanimated when on public transport, but his head went right back. He was pretty much on the other passenger's lap in disbelief with what's happened there. Dudley Hill have absolutely robbed Dragons there, Ian.
Definitely. I mean, I did say that the dominance that Dragons had, they needed that goal. You just got the feeling that one goal was going to nick it, and Steve's going to be absolutely over the moon with that. That's a big win. Again, Dragons faltering. I think surely Duggan's got to be looking at Morenes now, because that's I don't know how many games Scalco's. It's just he's not firing. Maybe trying maybe two. I'm sure he maybe has already, but there's just so many questions. But it's just a smash and grab and a superb for
needless
Steve.
to say, it's prompted Steve with his normal good boy mentality to apologise for being lucky. Alf saying what a sickener. Mr. Piers has appeared in the chat and is offering to discuss Sigalco in the DMs. And Greavesy, in textbook Greavesy fashion, saying things he loves to see. Dudley Hill snatching a 1-0 win. Lizarazu picking up man of the match. Look at all of those nines. And wow, 6 players rating a 9 and 1 on a 10. Unbelievable defensive performance from Dudley Hill there.
That's unreal. That Ado and Neville doing an absolute number there. I mean, they only had 3 shots on target the whole game, but they've obviously been solid as a rock. Roy Mackay maybe went decided. No, that's you can't get much better than the Rangers are. I mean, I know Steve was questioned about Abiati, wasn't he? His keeper, but he came in and got a 9 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Superb. He's going to be delighted with that, man.
Absolutely delighted with that performance, Will Steve. He probably would have liked them to be a bit more creative, but you cannot argue with those numbers from the defensive players. As for Dragons, all attention there on Sigalco, 5 shots on goal, 3 on target. But it's just, they've only had 2 players rate an 8. Everybody else is a 7, other than the substitute who was on a 6. It's just, it was okay, but no one really stepped up when Dragons needed them to.
I'm a wee bit surprised with that, because I think Dragons, they definitely the first half. I think it's obviously just been a case of Dudley coming in at the second half. I was expecting more rates than that for Dragons. I thought they were in the game more, but they've obviously just fell away. And as you say, just that cutting edge up front, we would normally bank on Shigalko doing that for them. He's just not done it. And they've suffered again.
Well, congratulations to Steve. Commiserations to Duggan. Let's move on then to 2 of your favourite opposition sides. We've got Locomotive Boston at home to Bostock Stanley. Loco without Klompe, who's suspended. He's going for this new high press tactic for this game. Last time out, they had the 1-0 win over Halls, where it was an absolute slugfest between the 2 sides, just going at each other, hammer and tong. So we've got Montella continues to lead the line, Scholes and Cassano in support of him. Del Vecchio continues to play out wide with Zanoni on the other side. Petit and Makalele playing in front of Lurson and Tudor. What do you make of the look of this Loco team?
The formation I like. I mean, I know it was we totally mixed up this season. I think Greaves maybe doing the same. He was maybe one that had read for more of a defensive sort of shape. I like what he's doing. I think he realises he's got to try and go for it. My only concern would be, has he got the players for this formation? Del Vecchio left wing, I'd maybe question. Zanoni right wing. I know he's capable. He's maybe in a sort of duff category. I like the formation. I mean, Michael and Petit have done amazing for him. Even when he must be getting on a bit. I mean, if you put like say Montella's to Shigalco's to Dragons, sorry, I'm losing my voice a bit.
Right.
I'm losing my voice a wee bit. I think Montella is what Dragons want Shigalco to be to them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying there. His strike rate considerably better. Sigalco now 5 in 11, Montella 6 in 8. Let's have a look then at Bostock, who have a number. They've been racked with injuries and suspensions last couple of games, and now it's only Jacques missing. So when we look at the team, it's a more familiar shape, and we can see Zé Roberto's back, Cafu's back, Live is back with Decor in the middle, Welsh in centre mid, Gonzalez and Raul supporting Torres. It's a lot more familiar looking from Bostock, and Scott must be delighted with that.
It definitely is, mate. I mean, he's just had to ride out that couple of games there. I mean, it was, you have to say, he's probably been the worst hit by the injuries and suspensions to his main men.
Yeah.
And he's sort of roughed out, but I was having a look at the table, and I think he's only 3 points of 6 or something. He's right in the mix. I mean, and as we know, Bostock are more than capable of going on a wee run. You know what I mean? He's right there in that group. So he's had a hard couple of weeks, but he's just in the mix. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Bostock going a wee run, and it's going to be huge that they've got their big players back.
And you can see on the graphic that I've got on the screen at the moment how inconsistent they've been. They've not been higher than 8th so far this season, but they can't seem to get that run going yet. They're going up and down more than like a Katy Perry song at the moment. So it'll be good for Scott to keep his players fit, to get a run going. And as you say, they are more than capable. Last time out, they had the 1-1 draw with Leddersford, where they were playing with 2 up top. Vieri's an interesting one, another player to not get going, 2 in 5 starts and 4 sub appearances. What's your thoughts on him? He's another player who's not quite hit it really in the Super League. He's never challenged at the top goal scorers. He had a decent spell at Sloths for a period, but not really done it anywhere else.
I think he's just getting a bit old, to be honest. I know he's 32, he's not old, but I've had him at Midlothian in previous iterations, and he was never a prolific goal scorer. I think he was lucky if he would get you 7 or 8 goals, but what he did do is he scored big goals. So I think he's a handy player to have on the bench for Bostock, and if you chuck him on for the last half hour, he's always more than capable of getting that sneaky goal, but he's never going to be a top goal scorer. So, but I think Torres and him are complement each other. Scott can do a wee bit of rotation in that, so he's still handy to have around, I think.
Absolutely. And a score prediction, please?
I'm going to say 2-0 Bostock, hopefully.
2-0 Bostock. Alf's predicting that Mpenza's going to score in a 1-0 win. I think he might mean Montella. But you never know. Maybe Mpenza will turn up for Loco, because he certainly hasn't for Devils the last couple of games. Let's kick off game number 2 of the evening as Loco, and it is Montella early doors scoring to give the home side the lead. Torres with an opportunity fails to score. Scholes puts one just over the bar. There's a yellow card. Only 20 minutes into this half, lots happening already. Loco are very attack-minded at the minute, and Van Bommel makes it 2-0 on half an hour. Great goal that for the home side. 37 minutes on the clock. Bostock really trying to get this goal back to keep it interesting going into half-time and make Loco think. The home side coming forward, though, looking for a third, and then on the counter, here come Bostock. And it's 3-0 on the stroke of half time. 3-0 to Loco, and they're going for a fourth.
Wow.
Scholes scores. It's 3-0 as the referee, Mr. Breeze, calls time on the first half. And what has happened to Loco? 7 shots on goal in one half, 4 on target, 3 goals, Ian.
It's crazy. I mean, just looking at the screen, it looks so weird seeing more than one goal scorer beside Loco. It just doesn't look right. Breeze is going to be absolutely delighted for that.
There is absolutely going to be a windmill in the Greaves household tonight, isn't there?
Most definitely. Well, he was messaging me earlier, actually. We had a wee story to tell me. I'll not reveal it, but he might reveal it later. It was absolutely fantastic. It does involve a windmill, but I'm not going to reveal anything on live here. But no, it's definitely so unlocal, that performance. Be interested to see the stats, but again, it's pretty ominous for the rest of the league when Loco are scoring 3 goals, and no conceding any in 45 minutes of football.
So just while you get an opportunity to look at these loco stats, just to let you know the halftime reaction in the chat, Ian. So we've got Mr. Piers saying PRG is back, the bastard. Rob saying that is vomit inducing, and Greaves is saying you all wanted me to attack. Are you happy now? And then Rob pointing out that his sister will be delighted, a la the windmill. But those, just looking at those stats, that the passing numbers aren't necessarily the highest we'll see from anybody, but the effectiveness numbers are there for all to see.
Definitely, that is. Agreed that he's going to be delayed. The only concern maybe with the yellow cards, but I think he can't really ask for much more. I mean, the hits basically went in. Van Bommel doing a job in the middle there. I was a wee bit, I forgot to mention it pretty much about Klompé. I wondered if they would miss him because he's probably been one of the best defender, I would say, but
Yep.
They certainly not missed him. Looking at that, Scott's going to be absolutely gutted with that.
That is as average as I've seen any Bostock side in a half of football.
It really is. He's just not turned up. I think he's just going to want this. I know knowing Scott, he's going to make changes. He's going to mix up. Keane will probably come on. As Vieira, he's going to have to go for it, but it's just going to be a bad day at the office. Like just right off. Kathleen's in a better on sixes. I mean, when you're getting that, obviously, with season a 5, there's not much you can do.
Well, Greavesy's confirmed, unsurprisingly, he's keeping it as is. I did wonder whether he might, as you said, look at the yellow card situation and maybe take one off or two just to avoid the risk of a sending off. I'm not sure I've seen Scott yet in the chat. I will give him 30 more seconds or so just to be sure. I'll scroll back through to see if I've missed him anywhere. But yes, certainly if he is about, I would be expecting changes. But no, nothing coming through at all. So we will kick off and go to 60, and this could be a long, long night for Bostock Stanley if this continues.
Scott maybe just throwing the towel in on this one. I thought he would have made changes. I really thought he would have changed up, but he's maybe just gave up.
And Bostock with a glorious chance there as we hit the tactics break. Look at Martin Lawson there. Not many players on a yellow card get the 10 rating, but you've got Petit rating a 9, Van Bommel rating a 9, Montella rating a 9 as well. Loco have continued to look good in that opening period of the second half as well. Now it just purely comes down to, does Greavesy think this is done and rest and avoid the risk of a few players, or does he go for the jugular and really put the cherry on the cake with 4 or 5 goals potentially?
I joked off a wee bit there. I must have been doing a wee dip. I'm surprised to see Rui Costa. I think you might bring him on for Scholes or something. I don't know.
Rui Costa is coming on, but for Cassano.
Cassano, it makes sense. I mean, the game's won. You'd maybe protect the yellow cards, maybe take Van Bommel off. But again, I'd be tempted just to sort of roll with it. It's been an amazing performance, and we'll be hoping just for it to fly and get the win.
Well, of the players on the yellow cards, Del Vecchio is the man being replaced for Tonetto, very much a like-for-like swap. It wouldn't surprise me if Lurson on his 10 rating was brought off just for Lusanov as well. But equally, Greavesy will probably be quite looking to avoid any sort of half-hour capitulation by keeping his star man on the pitch. Looks like that is it for Greavesy. Still nothing in the chat from Scott, so we'll just have a very quick look. Even Lai's performance has dropped to a 5 rating. Decor's performance dropped. This is woeful for Bostock Stanley. So when Scott watches this back, he's going to be far, far from happy. Let's resume the action as it is. Bostock trying, and they've got one back through Zé Roberto. If they were to score next, it would be very interesting. 70 now on the clock. And here come the home side again, and then the time flies by to 85. I mean, you can imagine Greavesy being gutted that they've conceded here. But the full-time whistle goes, and a very impressive Locomotive Boston run out 3-1 winners over Bostock Stanley. Congratulations to Greavesy. They certainly are going on the offensive these last couple of games, Ian.
They definitely are. I think in this league goal difference is going to be massive just with the teams are that closely bunched together. So all these 3-1 wins. I mean, Greaves he's never historically been a high scoring team, but I think he'll know his sell. You need to be in the plus goal difference anyway, and results like this are certainly going to help him. He's going to be delighted with that. Martin Larson, 14, 13 tackles, outstanding. I mean, I did question the players in the formation it was playing, but it's definitely proven it wrong. I mean, Bostock are no mugs, but that's not far off a perfect performance for Greaves. We got it about the goal, but still a statement win, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And the more you look at it, especially knowing the type of guy Greavesy is as well, he'll be looking at that 14-13, thinking that's superb. He'll be looking at Petit 7-4 with free key. He'll be looking at Makaleli, who has rated 8 for his all-round performance, and thinking you need to be completing more tackles than that. He'll be looking at Del Vecchio even, who's an attacking player, and saying you probably need to be completing more tackles than that. But you carry on Van Bommel absolutely dominating in the centre of midfield there. He's got a goal, he's winning most of his tackles, he's completing virtually all of his passes. It's just absolutely superb from Loco at the minute. And I think the thing is, you look at Van Bommel now, he's 28, he's sort of peak age, so we're starting to really see what we've been waiting to see from him. And it's just whether he's got the consistency to keep these sorts of performances up. Montella, 31, he's probably this is the last sort of throw of him at his peak before perhaps the downgrade starts. So he'll be looking to really make his mark. And it's not like he's been short of Super League goals in the past either. So he's had a fairly decent strike rate. As for yeah, I can see there. Greaves is saying, look at Scholes as well. Scholes all over his daughter's toes after that, says Steve. A couple of performances did improve. Yeah, you're looking at Cafu and Zé Roberto there. First game back from injury, their fitness has plummeted. Torres has worked hard as well, but not had anything really to go on. It's just been a bad day at the office really for Scott, that hasn't it?
This is probably one of the worst, probably one of the worst ratings wise performance I've seen for Bostock. He's just not turned up. But I think that they've got that in them, Bostock. I mean, when it clicks, but they're liable to get results like this. And I think Scott is going to be a wee bit concerned. It's never nice to see a 5, and you're seeing it in your main man, Ashley Light, and he's going to be a big guy. I don't know if it's maybe an individual instruction thing or whatever, but he's been beaten to the better side there, I would say. It's just a bad day at the office, as you say. I'm surprised he never tried to mix up with subs, but whether it would have made a difference or not, I don't know. Okay, that's just one. I think he's just got to write to office a bad day at the office. So on to the next game.
The Tato is referring to Ashley Live as a myth in a rather creative way. And then all the P puns are coming out. We've got Pashley Pive and Pop Paddler being commented. And Greaves is saying that Scholes could have a go on his toes if he keeps playing like that. Congratulations, Loco. Very, very impressive from them tonight and the last couple of games. Good to see Greavesy really making a go of it this season. Next up, Northern Burn versus Astor Athletic. Now, when the pre-season predictions were made, it was not expected that Astor would be the team hovering around the playoff positions, and Northern Burn would spend all but one of the first 11 game weeks bottom of the league. First of all, let's start with Astor, who are the team we're looking at. Very impressive start from Alf, considering what everyone was expecting, isn't it?
Everywhere, I mean, he's been there and done that. And the squad he inherited, it was sort of some of the players that Alf had before he left. I mean, he always seems to be a danger for top 6. I mean, he puts in the hours at home and stuff. And they're always capable. A lot of the guys I've been the person to go for, but Alf seems to have his men in his right positions. He's doing reasonably well, better than expected, I would say. So he's always dangerous.
This is the team he's gone with tonight. West and Brown have firmly established themselves as a partnership now since both became fit and available. I mean, West 8 starts in a row now for him, with a 7.13 average, perhaps not the highest. Wes Brown on an 8 average, 9 starts and a goal for him. High tackle count, 5.1 as well. Again, he's a player approaching peak powers, alongside a champ legend in Taribo West. We've got Ambrosini there sitting and protecting. Emerson and Emre given the task of owning that midfield. Rossini, interestingly, playing behind Fowler tonight, instead of as a front two. Franca, as I pointed out, I think one or two game weeks ago, being an absolute unsung hero this season. 11 starts, 4 goals, 4 assists.
As I'm sure Franca was one that was he at Valon United when Andres was he when it was at the old Valon. I seem to remember, but home saves and that Franca's good. I'm sure I've had him at one point as well. When you look at his stats, he's more than capable. Again, there's like a couple of guys in there I would have. His defence I really like. Emerson obviously is a good player, one of the better MCs in the game, one of the few MCs in the game. We're seeing it at ANC, I'm not sure about that. Again, I've tried to avoid players in positions that are not ideally suited to it. So I've got Swan on board. He's basically again the load of the way guys play, and I've been trying to avoid playing guys in position. So it'll be interesting to see. But on the whole, it's a solid side, and as I said, Alf's always capable of sneaking a result.
Let's have a look at Northumberland then. And in your opinion, what has happened to them this season to go from title contenders to rock bottom?
I think Ian's he's basically made bad transfers. I think he had hit the sweet spot. Sorry, what we're on, we kind of hit that sweet spot. The Devils, a couple of seasons the last season had hit that sweet spot with his side, and he's maybe just done too many tweaks. He's wanted to tweak it too much, which I totally get. I mean, you want to freshen things up in that, but I think that it's tweaked it too much. I see Cole's unhappy. He just left us. Obviously, he's a good player. He should be starting. But I just think he's tweaked it too much. It's still not to the extent of how bad they've been. I mean, say it's been appalling. I mean, the thing is, once you start losing games, it can be fucking hella hard to turn it around. You know what I mean? When you start getting beat, it's like it can be difficult, especially in the Super League. There's no easy games, so we'll be desperate to turn it around. He's got the players to do so. Clivett's one that I'm not sold on, so I'll be interested to see that. Now he can just play for pride really, because he's certainly at the playoff mix, definitely.
Absolutely. Jens saying Burn to win this 3-0. The only change from last time out, Roy Keane available again, comes in for Medina. A score prediction from you, please, sir.
I'm going to say 1-1 all.
1-1 is the prediction from my co-commentator. How much further we got on the bus, mate? Is it a long journey still, or are you about to disembark?
I'm about to disembark at the next stop, mate, so you'll see some sights at Edinburgh shortly.
Well, speaking of someone who's disembarked, that's Ian Robins' first goal of the season. And Brozek gets his first ever goal for Northumberland to quick fire double it. And they are 2 up. And now Astor have got a mountain to climb. And that is probably the best half of football from Northumberland all season. 2-0 up at the whistle. With 3 shots on goal, Astor have been reduced to creating absolutely nothing. Not even a corner.
That's the best we've seen, Burn. I mean, this is the Burn that we know that should have turned up. Just the youngsters. I think Ian, he was on the chat I watched. I think he had a late night chat. He was mentioning Brozek and Robin, young guns. Sorry, and so far they've not turned up. But this game, it looking like they're maybe finally turning up.
Yeah. Robin in particular certainly turning up tonight.
Definitely.
And Ian has reacted very quickly by saying, as is, Alf bemoaning the fact that he said that Astor would come good. He's been hampered significantly by Shay Given. We said that was Robin's best performance of the season. This is probably Shay Given's worst performance of the season so far.
Definitely, it's not good for Alf. I mean, you know when your keeper gets a 5, you're not going to be getting it for the match. Except that you as I've got on the bench. Caballero, is it worth trusting?
Do I not historically remember you winning a game despite Casillas getting a 4?
I don't think I've won. Have I won
I
one?
think there was one game where we couldn't believe your keeper got a 4 and you won.
It wouldn't surprise me because he's getting a 4. I can say that much. Definitely though. Fucking honestly, that's been the day in as well. Archie giving it Midlothian as well, aren't fighting, and he was all he went on good runs, but we know the curse of the keepers in the game. They're always fucking liable to chuck in a stick.
We're just waiting on
so far,
just waiting on Alf to confirm what changes he'd like to make. We've got Steve right there, loving the fact that Steve Finnan is on the pitch. I can see my co-commentator is on the move. He must be approaching his stop. So we'll be able to get out and about and real sample life in the capital shortly as he trawls his way through the streets on his way home. Looking at the subs available, it wouldn't surprise me if Alf goes 2 up top. Does he bring Michael Owen back into the frame as well? Potentially, he has to do something. He can't maintain this. You know, with all due respect, no matter how much quality there is in Northern Burns team, and we've all been saying that it's got to happen for them eventually. He's playing a team at the bottom of the league, conceded the most in the league, scored the least in the league, 1 win in 11 games. He can't be praised as doing a great job if he then goes and loses to currently the worst team in the league form-wise. So this is where Alf proves everyone the quality that he possesses. Alf, I am going to have to rush you for this though. Here we go. Given off, Fowler off, Cavallero and Owen on 2 up top is the word. So I'm guessing you want it a bit like this. Fowler, Owen. So you can just confirm that's how you want it, Alf, and we will proceed accordingly. Ian, you have now disembarked. Not surprised to see Alf reacting with a double sub?
No, I think you had to do something. The keeper one, I know some people don't like to touch the keeper. I probably would, to be honest. I mean, Northern aren't exactly in great form, so if he gets an early goal here, you never know. But no,
there is an early goal, but it's the Northern Burn, and they go 3-0 up. Asta missing a good opportunity there as we come to the tactical stop. Toldo didn't even move, but Asta failed to convert. And we're getting a chance here to look at the numbers for Northern Burn. We've got Brozek on his brace on a 10. Got Brett Emerton there on a 9. We've got a whole host of 8s. This is as good as Ian has seen all season, without a question. I still don't think it's vintage Northern Burn, but it's certainly the closest we've seen for some time, and that's going back to last season as well. And he's reacted by saying as is already. As for Alf, not yet managed to get back into the game. They have fallen further behind since he made the changes. Do you expect Elmander to come on maybe just to try and do something?
I think, to be honest, the game looks away. It's away for Alf now, but you would maybe try something, maybe go 3 up top or do something like that. I think you've got to do something, but I just back to Northern Burn. It's definitely the best we've seen them all season. I think this is what Ian was certainly hoping they'd be doing to teams, but Alf's going to be disappointed. I would do what you've done there on the screen, Fife. I don't know if that's what Alf's asking to do, but I'd certainly go for something like that myself.
He has asked for the wing backs to be advanced. I'm just waiting clarification if that's the only change he's making. It's certainly an attacking move. We've got Elmander coming on for Salihamidzic, who has been booked as well. So it's an attacking change tactically and personnel for Alf. He is making an attempt to get back in. There's 20 minutes to go, though, and 3 goals down to bottom of the league. It's a far from ideal position to be in. 10 minutes go by with nothing happening. Cannavaro then goes into the book. Emerson goes into the book as well. And here comes Byrne looking for a 4th. Asta trying to get consolation this time. Robin missing a glorious chance. And there is the full-time whistle, and it's finished Northern Burn 3, Astor Athletic 0. Astor actually had the better of the second half, but failed to put a single one of their attempts on target, whereas Burn, who had 4 out of their 5 on target throughout the game, scored 3 of them. And that's the importance of having effective attacking players who can actually put the chances away when they come, Ian.
Astor, they've came in there a wee bit. No shots on target. You're not going to win any prizes for that. It's just, again, another bad day. The offense, this is inconsistency that keeps the league so interesting, I think. I mean, Astor have been pretty solid. I don't think anybody would have predicted a 3-0 Northern Burn win in that game.
Jens actually did predict Burn winning 3-0.
Well, that's it. Us mere mortals would never predict a result like that. But no, Ian's going to be delighted. Again, it's sort of similar to Bostock's ratings, Astor. It's just been a bad day at the office.
They just can't build that. They just can't build that. That head of steam. They just can't get the ball rolling and continual form, can they? They win one, they lose one.
That's it, mate. But I think that does come. You always get teams near a crunch time. So I think if you can just be in that mix round about where Bostock were, like the 3 maximum 6 points off the playoff teams, I think if you just stay in that pack, you're in with a good chance. It's certainly going to be the teams that can get the 3-4 game runs on the go. It's going to make the playoffs. Northern Burn now, Ian's just going to be looking to upset teams and ruin their playoff chances. I think they just take a game at a time, but he's got to be delighted with that.
Absolutely. We come to a very fascinating fixture next, as we've got Devils at home to Fulchester. Fulchester still without Comandini, Castillo and Quaresma, but they do welcome back Nicky Butt, who slots straight back in. Gattuso replaces Van der Laan in midfield. Van der Laan taking his place back on the bench. So much more what Macca wants to do. He's up your way enjoying stuff. I know he's in Scotland, and I saw a picture posted earlier of him in a local establishment, a pint of Scotland's finest. So I'm sure, although not watching tonight, he will be enjoying himself nonetheless. But joint top, obviously, with yourselves, and you're turning into very friendly rivals. You two bantering, I see, each game week. As one wins, the other one wins, and I think he was likening it last time to Newcastle Man United.
Definitely. I mean, it's got to get run over by a bus here, Fife, if you could do with me. It's got to be said. I mean, looking at Macca's formation and the formation he's used, forgetting the season when Ryan came on board, Macca's consistently went with this flat 4 in midfield, and I've got to say we've copied them, but we have sort of copied them with the flat 4. It's not a formation I like, but it's been successful, and you've seen this season, they're the team that I would probably fear to win the thing personally. I think Devils are maybe just going to fall short just by being run by an absolute lunatic, so I think that'll be their downfall. But Macca, I mean, he's consistently good in the Super League. He's always a tough side, he knows what he's doing, so it's just a bit disrespect for him. And in saying that, I would like a fucking draw here if possible, and a lot of injuries to both sides.
Absolutely. Well, we've got an interesting. The current incumbent of the Devils' managerial seat has not taken kindly to being called out by not just me, but seemingly everyone else, and he's actually put a bit of effort in this week with a complete tactical change, and a kind of nod to his predecessor. This is kind of a Hodgie looking formation, you would say, but we've got Ayala and Nesta in front of Frey. We've got Oya and Van Bronckhorst either side of Soroczynski. Kuhlen Dyer is being put out wide again, where he should be, and Aymar and Eto supporting Mpenza. So what do you make of the death to Israel tactic?
I have to say I like it, but again, is it maybe becoming fashionable to play that ML and MR? I know the Super League kind of goes through phases. It went through the narrow phase, and this is like in previous iterations. So maybe this is coming into fashion now, the wide wide midfielders, because it seems to be successful. It's certainly been successful for ourselves. We've scored a hell of a lot of goals. So I think, again, just playing players in the right positions. Rob putting a fucking good side out there. I mean, looking at that one at 11, and Penza Ima, Eto is no one that I'm hugely a big fan of. I know you speak of Eto a fair bit at the Devils,
I'm a
obviously.
big Eto fan. I think he's very good and very underrated. This is possibly the worst looking Samuel Eto I've ever seen.
Aye, I've seen him better. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him a lot better. I think I don't know how Mukuku was getting in the starting. I know it's maybe due to injuries and that, but I mean, it's still a good side. They're not going to become crap overnight, but I just think if Rob takes it fucking seriously, plays his best side, which he has done tonight, they're going to be up challenging. I know they're 4 points behind themselves, but if he could beat Fulchester here, it'd be a massive fucking win.
The one question I do have, Rob has clearly put a bit more thought and effort into his team tonight. Barry Ferguson dropped completely.
It's a big call, but he's not playing with a central midfielder. I'm surprised he's not on the bench to mix it up, because he's definitely one of the best in the league. But Rob's, he's went with a tactic. I would definitely have Ferguson on the bench over Wellens anyway. But he's went for it. We can't criticise him for going for it. He's put a decent side out. But that's a bit of a shock.
So we've seen both teams now. Can I tempt you with a score prediction, please?
I'm going to have to. I would love a draw. I just think. I'm hoping it's going to be a low scoring draw, but I'm going to say 3-3 in this one.
You think a low scoring draw, so you're going to predict 3-3. That is sort of, this is why we want you on co-coms, for that sort of level-headed punditry. Let's kick off what potentially could be, what a start! Seb Frey's been sent off on 3 minutes and Fulchester have a penalty. Okay.
Huge, absolutely huge.
So, Rob is here. So we know he'll be able to. I'm expecting Eto to be replaced and Amar slotting behind.
That's what I would do, mate. That's exactly what I would do. It has to be.
So we've got instant reaction to the red card. Rob's put "for fuck's sake." Steve's put "oh my," and Greaves has put "wow, I love it."
It kind of ruins the game, though, doesn't it, mate? It's an early red to a keeper.
He's done well to get sent off in 3 minutes.
I know. It kind of ruins the game a bit, but again, Fulchester will looking to take advantage if they've got a pen. It's.
Well, he's also dropping Amar back to centre midfield. We do offer the opportunity as well we would offer Macca the opportunity, but we know he's not here. This is exactly what happens when you drop Kudicini, Rob. But Frey realised that was a mistake, so you could bring him back on. Greaves is saying it couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. Let's slow it right down for the penalty to see if Fulchester take an early lead. Eto off, Kudicini on, Nedved with a spot kick. Scores for Fulchester to give him a nice early lead, and the complete opposite of what my co-commentator wanted to see. But Devils come flying out the traps back at them. Figo gets booked. Devils coming forward again. Now Fulchester trying to get a bit of authority back in this. But Devils certainly aren't out of this. Fulchester are definitely going to need a second goal. Dyer with the opportunity. And then Beckham swinging one in. Fulchester coming forward at will now, but Devils look dangerous on the counter. And there is the half-time whistle. And I've just noticed everyone's friend Wayne Oldham is the man writing the headlines in this game again. We don't see his name very often anymore. Part-time ref and part-time and Sunday league quality, really. Devils have managed 2 shots against an informed Fulchester, but they have been playing against an extra man for virtually the whole thing, and unsurprising to see Fulchester dominate, Ian.
Indeed, I'm as I say, I was a wee bit disappointed in the red, because you want it to be a decent contest, but Fulchester, I'd be shocked if Fulchester don't go on to win this now. Personally, I think Wobb at 60, he's got to go for like one at the back or something. If it's still 1-0, like, he's got to fucking do something. This, again, at that sub, we were talking about Ferguson pre-match not being on the subs bench. It would have been ideal for him to drop Ferguson in that lone MC role. So maybe a decision that's going to be scrutinised a bit, not having him on the bench. But it's, again, ruined the contest a wee bit. But look at all these sixes, they've just not done anything. The Reds obviously killed any momentum they'd be hoping to build. So it'd be interesting to see if Wobb does anything, mixes up a bit.
He's going as is until 60. Just a quick look at the Fulchester figures, and unsurprisingly, if you look at the big passing numbers in particularly, Gattuso, Nedved, Beckham, they are dominating now in that midfield, stretching with the extra man. But we'll continue to 60 to see if Devils can play their way back into this, or if Fulchester can extend the lead. Kuhl's the latest going to the book. And there's another player, I think that might be Nesta going in the book that time. And Fulchester do go 2 up, it's Figo. And Devils are in danger of falling apart completely here. Another penalty claim, not given. And we get to 61 minutes. And, Macca's joined us just in time. Evening, Macca. How are you, pal?
Hey.
He's gone as is until 60 as I pause it on the 61st minute, so I think he might be slightly behind in the stream. Got both kids on both shoulders. Sorry, no worries at all, Macca. No worries at all. So we're looking at Devils first, and we've got Ricardo Gardner on the bench. We've got Richie Wellens on the bench. I can't see either of those two making too much of a difference, but Kesman is the option, and it looks like he's going 2 up top, I'm presuming, because the word is Soroczynski off for Kesman. Yeah, 2 up top, please. And Aymar pushing on. Do you want an arrow on Aymar, Rob? Rob's really going for it now. Timmy will be going mad at Rob for that.
He's got to do something like that.
Well, he has to do something. I mean, not only has he got this game to try and rescue, but he's got his reputation. He's taken over a team that most people thought was still capable of winning it and turning them into a bit of a laughing stock, really. Can you push Kuhl and Dyer up arrows all over? Mm-hmm. What, like this? Or like this? Which way would you like the arrows, Rob? No, Steve, not Cudicini arrow to striker. He's taking off the only mid who is not playing a 6, says Creepsy. The first one he wants. So we've got arrows all over the shop here as Devils try to get back into this game. As for Fulchester, we know that Macca is currently wrestling the kids, so we'll give him a little bit extra time to try and work out how he's going to type any message. But it's pretty much going entirely to plan for him at the moment, and probably won't be doing too much by the way of changes.
He's going to be delighted with that. I mean, the back arrow on Figo, and it's, again, groundbreaking stuff for Macca. I think he's certainly, this is a statement win. You're going to Devils and winning. I believe we done that earlier in the season as well, but this would open up a gap. I believe it'd be, what is it 7 points it'd be now. He'd have a gap between himself and Devils. Mm-hmm. Certainly piling the pressure on us as well. So, Fulchester, as I was saying before, definitely the team to beat this season. Just doing their business.
One change for Fulchester with Trezeguet coming on for Ronaldo. So Devils have gone for it. They need to do something. And chance for Dyer to pull one back. Fails to convert. Still coming forward, Devils. But they're going to leave lots of space for Fulchester to attack on the counter. Can't hear anything behind on the stream. The miracle, says Macca. Shevchenko misses the opportunity. And Devils come forward again, but it's the full-time whistle. And Fulchester do open up that 7-point gap over Devils with a 2-0 win. And credit to the Devils, they certainly made a game of it, didn't they?
They didn't capitulate, which is probably this only positive you can really take for that. As I was saying, the red card so early kind of ruins the game as an event. But Fulchester just doing the business, going away to one of the rivals for the top end of the table. Convincing win. Wob, he's not going to be too disheartened. I mean, getting the keeper sent off has obviously changed it. That aside, don't know if we'll see that formation again. It didn't work. I think you've got to have Barry Ferguson in there somewhere. All round pretty disappointing, but I think that's more due to formation rather than personnel.
Well, he's blaming the referee already in the chat for what's happened. But I just want to pick up on something Mac has commented in the chat. And so going into this, Fulchester had only conceded, I believe it's to be 8 goals in the first 11 games. Molina has now played 5 games and 1 sub-appearance and conceded just 2 goals. Unbelievable bit of form he's in. I mean, obviously the defence in front, Nicky Butt, Yepes, Lucio, they're all significantly playing a part in that as well. But credit where it's due, because he's keeping Buffon on the bench.
No, definitely. I mean, I've spoke about what keepers are like in the game, and if Molina's playing well, why would you change it? I mean, if he's doing well, you keep him in until he isn't doing well. It's a no bad sub keeper to have on the bench, though, isn't it? Buffon. So, again, Mark has found that sweet spot that we all strive to get in the league. Everything is working. He's scoring goals, not conceding any. So, he's in a good place.
Next up, I was going here anyway, but the game has decided we're doing Dimble's Churchtown. Dimble, who's just entered the chat. Evening, sir. They host Jens's Hull's Vikings. Jens claiming the sacking is on the cards. I don't necessarily agree with that. Dimble, after the very impressive 2-0 win, I say impressive, it really should have been 6 or 7 looking at those stats. But he's gone completely unchanged with his team, unsurprisingly.
Again, we're looking at that MLMR formation. Yeah, as I've said, I think a lot of guys are swaying towards it. Dimble, he's one of the managers that came in and inherited somebody else's team, so he's obviously, in my opinion, it's going to take a wee bit of time to try and get the sort of players you like in, and he's certainly got a bit of an identity now. Dimble, he's got Hussein up front scoring goals. Zambrano.
I'm pleased for Hussein, to be fair, because he was having absolutely no luck, and then Dimble sort of rescued him and been repaid so much.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at that record, I've said it before, any striker that can get 10 goals in the Super League is doing well. Any striker that gets 10 goals, that's a reasonable return. I know home saves and that's not good, but in the Super League, if you get a striker scoring 10, that's good. That, in my opinion.
That's 18 in 25 starts.
Absolutely, mate. You're not getting any better than that. I mean, that's prime Shigalko levels, Super League levels. Like, I mean, that's outstanding. So massive credit to Dims for getting the numbers that Hussein, and he's Brugink is one I love. I've tried to get him. John Terry again. I think he's underrated in the game. I really like him. He's got a solid.
Look at how he's developed in this.
Exactly.
He's got 19s and 20s absolutely everywhere.
Terry's amazing on the game, mate. He's one of my favourite players, and he's class. Develops like that. So he's got a solid side. I mean, again, he's players that are playing in these specific positions. He's doing well, and he's absolutely going to be challenging for the playoffs again, as he did last season.
The big news for Halls is they're without Sol Campbell for this one. It's a move to a familiar-looking tactic. In fact, the one that they kicked off the season with against Fulchester, and it's a case of most of the expecting names where you need. Obviously, Baldini would be replaced by Campbell. I'm not necessarily sure Jens would want to be playing Davis, but he's not been in awful form. But all in all, you've got Collins in support of Roberts and Crespo. There's certainly talent in this side. Vogel skipping the side from his preferred centre midfield position.
Absolutely.
Sorry, mate, your signal dropped a second there.
I think my big fat fingers are pushing the wrong buttons. Apologies. Who'll say that again? another one who's came in, maybe not to the extent to Dims, but he's definitely got his own identity in the team. Crespo is just, he's never really hit the heights that we know he should hit home save wise. Davy Collins is not the Davy Collins again at home saves. I know he had a good season many moons ago now, but he's kind of drifted off. Vogel Malevsky, Davis is not bad. I know he maybe isn't a starter in the Super League, but he's a solid deputy to come in. Candela, I gave him, and probably one of the worst deals in the Super League history. I gave him Candela for Nikiforenko. The absolutely fucking one-legged Nikiforenko. It was an absolute disaster. I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but it's not the Nikiforenko we know. Pools again, they just can't get that consistency. It's win one, lose one, and the season's over. You know what I mean? For Jens. That's what you say.
Absolutely correct. I mean, you look at some of these results. They've lost the last two 1-0, then they won 1-0, they lost 2-0, 1-2-1. They had a 4-0 loss, a 5-1 win. They've had a 3-3 draw with Slavs. It's, as you say, it's been all over the shop for them. So it'd be interesting if Jens can get some consistency out of this team. A prediction, please.
I'm going to say a home win here. I'm going to say a 2-1 home win. Again, I just run over the road. There's somebody peeping at me. There you go. 2-1 to Churchtown.
2-1 to Churchtown, and Brugink has scored very early to make that a possibility. It is 1-0 to the home side. Another player whose reputation Dimble has completely restored. Much maligned as a bit of a joke player for many seasons, but Dimble proving what a good player the Ajax man, PSV man really is. Still 1-0, half an hour played. Here come Halls again, though, from set piece. They failed scoring up the other end. This time Hussein with a good opportunity. He fails to convert. 4 minutes being added on at the end of the first half. And that's another penalty claim for Churchtown. Again, David Dwight turns it down. And instead, he blows his whistle for half time. Churchtown seemed it, and the stats would suggest they were slightly the better side there. But Halls did look dangerous when they went forward.
I think so. From where I was at Churchtown, probably edged it. Again, the 1-0's never a comfortable lead, is it? And again, Hulls they're more than capable of grabbing a goal, but I just think if Churchtown got a goal early second half, I think that will finish the match. But again, Hulls are never out just at 1-0 behind. Jens is going to be disappointed, as you say. They're just can't get any sort of consistency on the go. Churchtown, however, are looking pretty dangerous.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at the home side stats in particular. It is Brugink there rating an 8 alongside Tomazi, who is breaking things up in midfield. What Churchtown aren't exactly littered with the star names of, say, Dragons or Devils, but what he has done, as you say, Khan still showing consistency at his age. John Terry has developed very well and is proving consistent and good quality. Tomazi continues to be an absolute leader. And then you've got, like I say, Brugink, Agahawa, Hussein, who's having one of his quieter nights, absolutely leading the way in terms of consistency and quality.
Definitely, mate. They're just a solid side, and he's got his core players there. Khan must be, he's got to be tickling 40 now. What is he, 37, 38?
I want to say 37, 36.
36, and he's still doing it, as you say. He had a bit of a sticky patch at Dragons, I believe. Khan, but he's came in and he's doing the business. It's just a solid side that Jim's has put together, and they can certainly grind out games. Hulls, on the other hand, just another disappointing.
We're seeing a lot of this tonight, aren't we? One side looking
definitely
really decent, mate, and the other side looking distinctly average.
Just no turning up, mate. I know it's going to be disappointing. It has been the away side, to be fair. I thought that advantage has sort of been nullified a wee bit. You know, the home advantage, like season one, it's heavy at the side, home team had the advantage, but it's kind of faded a bit. But this evening, he's going to be gutted. I know he's got Steven Gerrard missing, who I really like. I'd be surprised if it doesn't try and do something. Is that Davis on a 5?
Well, he is reacting. So we've got Bote coming on for Davis, as you said, who's on a 5, and he's swapping places with Vogel to go into centre midfield, and Archie Back coming on for David Collins.
He's got to react. I mean, again, this is one of the benefits of having these subs, and the subs at 60 lets you react in game. I think it's been a great addition.
I was going to say, are you liking the addition?
Definitely, mate. I mean, it can change games. I mean, on home saves that I do subs a lot. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes there you go, boom.
And what a moment. ZZ Roberts has levelled things up just as we reach the tactics break. It's now 1-1, and Hulls, who had looked dangerous on the counter, now very much in it with the chance to win.
Definitely, mate. I mean, for me, that was Churchtown. They're probably unfortunate not get the second goal because it looked like it was going to be Churchtown scoring again. As you say, though, Hulls, they did look a wee bit dangerous on the counter, but now I wouldn't be totally shocked if Hulls go grab another goal here. This is the kind of performance that Jens has to be delighted with. Away from home, scraping it, come from behind. I don't know if Dims will mix it up and go 2 up top. I don't know. I mean, he's in danger of losing this one, which would be bitterly disappointing. But it's turned into a decent second half.
One change, Donny coming on for Volodenkov is the move from Dimble. As for Hulls, you can see there in the ratings alone, performances have improved. Back certainly playing his part in that as well. They have no attacking changes left. The only player they've got left to bring on would be Song Jong Kook. So I don't think Jens, while they're on top in terms of the play, is going to be changing anything.
So I think he'll keep the shape. He's managed to claw his way back into it. I think he's going to just keep the shape and just hopefully. I mean, a point where Churchton would be a good result. You know what I mean? It's not a bad result. So it's set up nicely here.
Jens keeping it as is as we reach the 70 mark. We'll slow the commentary down slightly. 20 minutes left in this game to play. Could go either way. Hulls have certainly played their way back into it, but here comes Breezy and Tomazi, Rustico, back to Tomazi. And still coming forward. Sambrot again involved. And there's Hussein, but well saved by Costanza. 15 left to play now. As Candeas finds back and gets it to Roberts, but he loses out. And there's Roberts. And Terry's been sent off. And Churchtown are down to 10. And it is all falling apart for the home side. They have no centre-back on the bench of stuff, although Mendes de Silva, as we know, can play there. Hakan Mild is on the bench, although Petrov could drop back as well. Or does Dimble go one at the back?
I'd go one at the back here. I think if he changed it in the middle, likely to lose it. I mean, from my experience in this situation, when you start taking players just to put 2 at the back, the other team come up and score. So I would just go with one at the back and try and keep that shape as much as you can.
Very interesting. No, he is making alteration. Mendes de Silva is dropping back, and Tomazi central is the change. We do offer Jens the opportunity to alter things as well. Again, not personnel, but tactically. Would he maybe look to put Botek further forward and really go with an attacking 4?
Personally, I'd just see the arrows on Candela and Contra. I'd get them pushed up to AMC.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout either, to be fair.
Or even potentially moving them up to the centre mid mark with the line to AMC. I'd do something because they're here for the taking now, going to be 10 men. Well, I would definitely put some arrows or something on.
Jens is going as is. No, Steve, I don't believe it is a penalty. So we'll just resume the game. And Candea floats in the free kick, but Churchtown managed to get it clear. But here they come again. Bote, and he scores! The substitute has scored and it's 2-1 to the away side. And suddenly, Hulls, from being 1 down and looking out of it, are in front. And what have the home side got in them is Tomazi, Hussein, and Agahawa. But Costanzo keeps hold of the ball. But then his distribution's poor. 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And intercepted, Bruging 30 yards out. Agahawa now. 5 minutes has been added on by the officials. We're into that 5 minutes now. Do Churchtown have one last chance in them? Agahawa picks it up. Petrov. Tomazi gathers the loose ball. Hussein. Costanza with the save. And it's all Churchtown. Zambrotta. Oh. And now on the counter-attack, Easy Roberts, Crespo, and it's over the bar. And there's the final whistle. And it finishes Churchtown 1, Halls 2, and a massive turnaround for Halls. And you've got to feel that's points dropped for Churchtown.
Absolutely. I mean, again, the red card, you didn't like to see red cards affecting games, but it's definitely done Churchtown there. Dims is going to be gutted. Again, for Hulls, though, that's the type of win that you personally I love. I mean, you've not really been in the match that much, clung on a wee bit the 1-0 and then just snuck the 2 goals. The red cards definitely changed it. As I said, I just had a wee feeling, and I get that personally sometimes when you start mixing it up and chucking another guy at the back, I always concede there. So maybe could have just went with the 1, but he's not been awful. He's just, he's not been awful, but he's going to be gutted. He's lost that.
If anything, you're looking at those ratings thinking it's actually not a bad performance at all, and he just needed Hussein to step up. He was found wanting tonight.
Definitely, it's just, the ratings didn't look bad at all, as you say. I mean, I think the red card, if he's not the red card, he probably would at least got a point out of that. As you say, Hussein disappointing on a 6. But Churchtown on the other hand, he's going to be absolutely delighted with that. Baldini, again, what some performance.
Yeah, that's his best performance in a Hull shirt, that's for sure. I mean, ultimately, the ratings by comparison aren't actually as good as Churchtown's on an individual basis. Just as a team, it worked really well. Crucial goals from ZZ Roberts and Derek Boateng, certainly releasing a little bit of pressure on the Hull's boss, who's putting it down to the half-time subs, changing the game. But congratulations to Jens, commiserations, Dimble. A fascinating fixture, that one. And we're on to the penultimate one of the evening, Ian. It seems to have flown by tonight. It's been very enjoyable. We've got Leddersford at home to Sloths. Leddersford the pressure being piled on them by Duggan, who said that if Leds drop points, it looks like the top 6 is already cemented. We're only 12 games into the season, not even officially halfway. They're missing Gallardo. They're also missing Hippias still, who's injured. But in terms of the starting 11, they go unchanged, which means we're seeing Mark Kerr and David Dunn again playing into the Super League, which is always nice because these two don't get extended runs by anybody.
I love Mark Kerr on the game, I really do. He can get retrained either in a defensive midfield or even attacking midfield. I think I've asked about that in the Super League, but if you chuck Mark Kerr in the AMC, he'll get you goals and assists, guaranteed. Honestly, he's. I know he's a bit marmite, but seriously, I think he's a good player. I've tried to get him for Leddersford. He was at Dragons before Leddersford. Good player. Tato, he's another one. He's a bit inconsistent. Again, the MLMR formation on show again. It's definitely a fashionable thing at the moment. Tato's he's certainly got his own men there. Leddersford, he's right in the mix again, as I say, right in the mix.
Absolutely. As for Sloths, they keep this sort of quite defensive-looking formation. Simeone comes in for Rosicky in midfield, and there's also a change with Pereira coming in for Harman as one of 2 changes. Risa continues in there. So it's the thing is with this Sloths team. So I quite like the look of Kivu and Valgarin as a pair, and I like Pizarro. You just worry about what sort of in between the two. Is it good enough to get any sort of level of consistency to challenge the top 6? Your thoughts on Sloths, Ian?
Oh. Still here, mate. I think I might have dropped off a wee bit. I'm still here, mate. You hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you fine, mate.
You hear me? 2 seconds, mate. I'm just going at my door. 2 seconds.
No worries. Well,
sorry. I think Sloss Hodges not had an easy task to try and sort that team out, has it? It's not. Is that me back? Sorry, mate. It's not a great side. I mean, he's trying to be as solid as he can. I think. He's saying I've got permission to do subs tonight, so I'm quite interested in this game actually. I gave him quite a few players just to try and sort it out a bit. I don't. I was saying to him, I don't know about his no AMC. I don't know if I would go with that personally, but again, and John Arnorisa in centre mid just gives me a bit of a migraine. No sold on him. I know he can play there and that, but he's not for me. He was saying Desai is kicking on a bit. He's another one who would possibly get a start, but I think he's maybe kicking on a bit. 37, he's not the quickest nowadays, is he?
No, certainly not. But then I'm not at 32, so.
Well, that's it, mate. I'm practically half deed, mate. So I'm 40 in September. So.
Are you really?
Aye. I'm 40 in September, mate. Aye.
Oh, mate, you look cracking for 40, mate.
Thanks very much, mate.
And it's gone to a ghost game, so we're going to have to come back to that, which means we come forward to your game. So you're home just in time. You're home just in time to sit back, relax, and watch. Before a ball's kicked, because we know Fulchester won, but before a ball's kicked, you're home ready to watch the current league leaders at home to Gazelles. So talk us through your team. Unsurprisingly, unchanged. Well, actually, no. I was going to say surprisingly because Jeremy hasn't been.
Jeremy should be playing, definitely. Jeremy should be playing. It should be full strength. Definitely full strength. Jeremy's in for and Cordoba's, he's not playing. So it's Stan and Mendieta and definitely Jeremy's at DMC.
Oh yeah, you are right. That's my fault.
Definitely. And apart from that, I think it's as is. I think
because
Samuel's came back
in now. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's us, mate. I really love it. I love the team. I was saying that I couldn't let anybody else take over Haggis now. Like I've just grown that attached to the players, even though they've been fucking shite for me. I seem to have just found that sweet spot. This formation, a hat to Maka and that. Personally, I've never liked it, but I've done it in a home save and it just worked with lesser players and as it's worked with these players. So, I mean, a chimpanzee could pick this team. You just need to push send. If everybody's fit, go for it. And at the moment, it's working, mate. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. There's always that danger of getting bored, getting a bit of an itchy trigger finger, and changing it, isn't there? So it's about having that mentality of not. As for Gazelles,
see that.
As for Gazelles, they stick as is, unsurprisingly, from the absolute mauling they gave Dragons last time out. What they have done is they've swapped the substitutes around, and they've taken Dede out, they've taken Yakubu out, and they've put Carr and Fiore in. So only changes to the subs bench. Seedorf finally getting something that resembles numbers. So credit to Martin for that. What do you make of this team?
It's again, I think he's certainly punching above where, getting results like that against the Dragons is good. This is a game. It's just got a feeling I could lose this one quite easily, just like a 1-0, 2-0. He's got dangerous players there, whether they're like Super League quality to maintain over a whole season. I love Udeze. Barthez is proven. Asamoah at right wing back, maybe could be interesting. Zendon's a good player. I like him. He's on home saves and that. He's always consistent. He's a good player. Left wing back, no problem with that. I know his numbers didn't always look great, but he's a good solid player. Anelka, I'd be surprised if he's not unhappy by the next few games. I mean, he's just an enigma, isn't he, Anelka? I mean, credit again to Martin. He's took a punt on him. He's not really got going this season. I think Scotty had got to the end of his tether. He knew he was going to start to cause trouble. So, it's going to be I get nervous at every game, Fifey, but it's one of them. I'm hoping we can blow them away in the first sort of quarter of the game. Hopefully.
Well, let's find out. As is common practice, I won't ask you for a score prediction. I will just say good luck. I can't wish Martin good luck. He's not watching, but I know Dan is. I've not seen him in the chat though, so I'm not sure he's necessarily found the chat yet. But I have told him that I will accept any. If he is watching it live, I will accept any messages at halftime on Twitter to make the changes. Let's kick off this one then. Haggis Hunters at home to Gazelles, and it's Gazelles who start quick. And Anelka scores in 4 minutes. And to add insult to injury, Joe Cole's got injured.
Fucking hell.
Not the start that you wanted, Ian.
Indeed. It's a tricky one, this. Very tricky. It's a tricky one. I'm going to bring on Helguera, and I'm going to move Helguera with Jeremy's. This is a bad. This is like when you're looking pre-game. I normally run like scenarios through my head, and losing one of my centre mids is always a huge fucking thing. It's they'll pull Del Piero back and put Bruno on. They'll take the risk and move Jeremy's up front. So this is interesting. Now this is going to be a tough. 80
You're
odd
happy with
fucking
this,
minutes.
yeah?
I'll just have to go with that, mate. Aye, let's go.
Okay, so we carry on 1-0 to Gazelles with Joe Cole now off the pitch, and Gazelles coming forward again, really looking to put the pressure on. And it's 2. Zenden, a total fluke. What a start to this! He's had 2 games and he's had unbelievable form since being called up from the reserves. What a pick out this has been from Martin. Haggis really trying to get one back before half time. It'd be a different game if they can. Have they got it in them? Viduka missing the latest chance, and there's another one. Giggs pulling all the strings, but no one finishing. One last chance for halftime, maybe. No, there is the halftime whistle, and Ian, you find yourself 2-0 down.
Indeed, it's not really. I'd say it looked like it was all Gazelles. It didn't look like scoring. It's looking like it's going to be one of the days, as we've been saying all night. Sadly, it's looking like it's us. Just no put the ball in the back of the net. Losing Mendieta is a big fucking miss. I know he gets a lot of sevens, but he's a big. Joe Cole. Who was it? It was Joe Cole. Fucking
Joe Cole,
hell.
yeah.
Losing Joe Cole was either or was big. Casillas doing his obligatory 5. That's
It's
never
been a
going
bad
to
night
fucking
for
help us.
goalkeepers.
It has indeed, mate. It has indeed. It's crying out for something to be changed, isn't it?
Well, while you consider that, I will flick over quickly and have a look at Gazelles and look at the performance from Zayaleas, who Steve said it was hurting his head, hurting his eyes, that he was playing on what he perceived as the wrong side. Zenden it was, who scored the complete fluke goal, backing up his 10 performance on his debut with a goal performance here already tonight. I know I have received a message from Dan, so I'm guessing he's not managed to find the YouTube chat. So I will leave this on there just for a second for him to decide. Have you considered any subs you'd like to make?
Can I have a wee look at it? Is all right? If you get a chance, just to have a look and let me see what I think I can fucking do. Fitness wise, do we twist? Fucking hell! I think. Can I have a look at the formation? Am I going to maybe push? Can I do that? Can I maybe have a look at the? Am I going to go 3 up? See. Can I? Jeezy peeps, Fifield. I'm struggling here.
Jeezy peeps.
Can I move Helguera and Jeremy's, please?
What? Swap them around again?
Please, aye.
Yep.
Please, and can I? I'll just go with that. Fuck it. I'll go with that, mate.
Okay, we'll roll to 60.
Just roll, mate. Just roll, man.
Dan has said as is, unsurprisingly, overseeing a 2-0 victory.
They've been very good, Gazelles. Massive credit to them. We've no looked like scoring. They look like scoring another, if anything.
Well, you say that. You had the first attempt of the half. And then there's another one, and Del Piero has pulled one back. And it is 2-1 now to Gazelles as we reach the tactics break. And here is where we decide if you've got championship winning mentality. What happens now?
Oh, what happens, Fifey? What fucking happens? Let me see. Del Piero's got the goal. I'm tempted to take him off, but I don't know. Alan Smith, what's the rating? Like 7.
Do you doubt yourself this much when you're watching it live? Was it just because you're in the commentary chair?
No, I'm so indecisive. Can I take Casas off for Alan Smith, please, Fifey? We're going with the Leeds United front two. Let's go with it.
Yeah. Anything else?
That'll do, mate. That'll do.
That'll do. Well, let's see how Dan reacts to that then. So they are still ahead. It is 2-1 to Gazelles. They have seen Haggis just pull one back, though. Does he make any changes, or does he back Martin's play? Steve, out of absolutely nowhere, he's essentially his own no context account, has just posted "Sexy Bastard Ian."
Thanks very much, Steve. Thank you. I was on about Ian Edwards. He's maybe on about.
No, because he's put the extra I in.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
2I Ian.
Lovely. How many Magners have you had, Steve?
Well, is he still in? He may still. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not his social secretary. But is he still on his romantic week away in Liverpool?
Oh, is he away at Liverpool? Oh, was that big with the photo? Right. I hope you're having a lovely time, Steve. I really do. I like Liverpool.
One change for Dan, saying Carr coming on for Asamoah is the change he's requested. I'll just give you 20 seconds, Dan. If you want to do anything else, let me know. I'm not necessarily sure that he will. Steve, can I see Besaid's average rating? Of course, Steve. Of course you can. 680 going into this game. There's Magners in Liverpool, Fifey. Yes, but Steve's normally on best behaviour when the soon-to-be Mrs. Wright is in town. So what he does is two completely different things, whether she's there or not. Dan's saying that is it, so we continue.
Hey, come on.
And as it's your game and you're on comms, there's half an hour to play, 1 goal in it. We'll slow it down earlier than normal. I know how much you hate slow commentary as well, so this is going to drive you nuts, which is going to be very entertaining for me to watch. Jeremy sticks out a leg and brings down Zenden, but the free kick comes to nothing, and now Haggis on the attack. 70 minutes now approached on the clock. And Smertin coming forward. Seedorf and Anelka playing it between themselves. Still Anelka, and it's 3-1 to Gazelles. Anelka. And to make it worse, Alan Smith's got injured. Every time Gazelles score, Haggis lose a player.
Animals. Fucking animals. Bruno, Fifey, mate, please.
Yeah, and do you want Del Piero up top or Bruno?
Put both of them 3 up top, please. Bruno for Smith. That's the one. Cheers, mate. And put a wee arrow on Mendieta to AMC, please. Lovely, jubbly. Del Piero on the left, if that's okay. And Viduka central. Bruno on the right.
Hang on. No, can't do tactic changes for an injury.
All right, okay.
My bad. Okay. Ignore that.
That's okay. Right enough. Are you not allowed to? They're not allowed to. Are they allowed to?
No, that's only red cards. No, so he can't change it at all. That's only for red cards.
That's fine, mate. Totally fine. That'll do us.
Did you want Bruno up top or Del Piero?
Just go with Bruno, mate. Chuck Del Piero up, fuck it. Del Piero, Bruno, AMC. Go for it.
Yeah.
I thought it's done anyway, mate. We're done. Good win for Gazelles here. Our first home defeat of the season is imminent.
Good job you remembered, Fifey. I was fully on board with it. Says Tater.
I know. So I was getting a bit carried away there.
And here comes Bruno and Viduka. Still Viduka. And still Viduka. And now Bruno, Del Piero. And it's 3-2. This game's not
Come on, yet. Boys. Come on, you useless bastards. Come on, you useless cunts. Come on.
And now here comes Helguera.
Go on. Fucking
5 yards out. Del Piero.
Go on.
Oh, and it's over the bar.
Oh, no danger. That was a chance. That was the one.
We're into the final 10 minutes and nothing is happening at all, much to Ian's
That was a chance. Come on. Go on.
Viduka still.
Go on.
Giggs.
Go.
Bartes saves it.
Go, you useless bastards. Come on. Fucking hell.
And here we go again, and it's Samuel Jeremy's.
Come on, big man, go on.
Offside, and we're into injury time.
Well done, Gazelles.
Is there going to be limbs and injury time?
Come on.
Oh no, and now Bramble.
No, come on.
And there's the final whistle, and it ends Haggis Hunters 2, Gazelles 3. Commiserations, Ian. It was a good effort, a very good effort. But you're counting the loss of the points and the loss of a couple of players.
It was quite an eventful match. Again, I'll always look to the goalkeeper. It's never good when you're getting a 6. I think we've done pretty well considering the injuries. The 2 are key players. Hopefully they're not too bad. Alan Smith looking at 24, whatever it is, doesn't look great. Joe Cole 77, hopefully not as bad. I thought we showed a bit of fight. In the end, it's certainly nowhere near our best performance. Looking at Helguera coming on and getting an 8, he's just a great utility player. Samuel and Stam doing okay. I think the injuries just sort of disrupted us. A great win for Gazelles with that formation coming in and basically getting everybody behind the ball, and they've managed to sneak a win. So well done to Gazelles.
So just to update you on some of the post-match reactions. First of all, from Dan, who's just put "Get in, great game." I've just seen pop up. Alf said it's a funny old game. Ian Edwards said huge Gazelles, some form. And then and Mr. Piers said best Dan involved in CM0102 does the business yet again. So that's that. And then we get Jens saying, I love Ian's constant swaps between jinxing the result and pushing his team forwards. And then Steve saying, Ian on comms when his team is playing is the best of us all. I love it. Rob's just posted, fell asleep, woke up to this, laughing faces. And so there we go. Let's have a look at the team. So I believe, essentially Martin picked it because they went unchanged. Anelka picking up man of the match here. But Dan did oversee it. He was in charge of substitutions and anything else he wanted to do. So he deserves an element of credit as well. Let's just have a look at Zenden, who is now 2 goals, 2 games, 10 rating. What a start to his career at Gazelles he's having.
I did say beforehand, I liked him. I do like him in home saves. I mean, he can operate wing back. I do like him. He's a good player. I mean, he's never really had any sort of run in the Super League, has he? But no, they've came in to do a job. I think they knew we were the highest scorers in the league, so they've came in, sat in, and they've fucking done a number on us. So massive congratulations to them. As I say, we lost 2 key players. Would that have made a difference? I'm not so sure. It was definitely a bad day office for us, but they're the first team to beat us this season at home, and they deserved it. So massive congratulations to both Martin and Dan. Indeed. Deserved win.
But it was a very close and entertaining game. But the action isn't over there, because we go back to the Ghost game, and it's Leddersford v Sloths. Just a quick reminder of the teams. There's Leddersford team, which includes which was unchanged from last time, Kerr and Dunn in centre field, and Sloths keeping the tactic that you weren't a massive fan of, but has done them some good in recent weeks. So let's kick off the final game. A score prediction, please.
I'm going to say, I'll say 2-1 to Sloths. It looks quite similar to the Gazelles formation, that Sloths one. When I looked at it, it is, isn't it? It's very similar. So I'm going to say a Sloths 2-1 win here. And I'm on subs. Hodges maybe going to want me off subs after my last performance, so we'll see.
Ronaldinho has opened the scoring early, but Danielson pulls one back in 18 minutes. It's already 1-1. Is that a sign of what we're about to witness as a concluding game? So 1-1 as we pass the half-hour mark. There's been plenty of action, but the goals have dried up as we are almost at half-time, and there is the whistle. It's 1-1. There seems to be a fair bit of text, but it went quite quick. Both sides creating chances. Leddersford, arguably the slightly better side, but very much a tense encounter, Ian.
It was. I didn't think either manager's going to be too disappointed. It looked quite a close game. I was a wee bit worried for Sloth there when Ronaldinho got the early goal, but them getting straight back, it's in the balance. I'm just hoping I didn't have to make a key sub here for Sloths. It's going to fucking sway it either way. I'm hoping it's pretty pretty straightforward because I didn't want to fuck up for them.
Well, let's have a look at Leddersford first, and pretty impressive performance all round. A couple of 8 ratings, mostly 7s. Van Nistelrooy, the only player sort of struggling.
Aye, it's a decent performance. I mean, you would probably keep Van Nistelrooy on just because it's Van Nistelrooy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else got 7s. It's poised nicely. I mean, that looks like you could, second half, just a couple of guys move up to the 8, maybe one getting the 9. So I wouldn't be making any changes if I was Tato. I'd be surprised if he does.
Well,
Maybe a couple of arrows or something.
Let's see if you'll be making any changes to Sloths. Looking at that again, it's maybe not quite as good as Leddersford, but it's still quite decent.
I do not like Risa in centre mid, but I'm probably just going to roll it to 60. I think I would. I don't think Kodji would maybe. I don't think there's nothing glaringly obvious there.
Okay. Well, Tato as well is going to 60, so let's crack on to that important landmark in this game. As Simeone, who's reinstalled to the lineup tonight, goes 2-1 up. And now Leddersford come forward looking for an equaliser. And they get the equaliser through Ronaldinho. And once again, this is 2-2. Both sides have been in the lead. And we're still level with half an hour to go. No point showing condition. Tato does not care. Looking here, Etzberia, the captain for Leddersford, Jens saying in the chat, what a player. He is having his best spell in the Super League, I would argue, at the moment.
I'm a big fan of Etzberia. Tybee on a 6 isn't he doing Tato any favours? Apart from that, looking at that, he's looking pretty perfect. He's mixing up here, isn't he? Kerry MC, I'm all for that. All over Kerry AMC. I like that. Love that.
If you could just confirm, Tato, I think that's what you want. If you could just confirm that looks how you want it. Yeah, you were saying earlier about Kerr AMC. Samak, the more natural attacking midfielder, though. Were you surprised that he's the one playing centre midfield?
Kerr can play either. Kerr can play AMC, MC and DMC if need be. But as I say, on home saves, I play Kerr and AMC and he does really well. What should I do here? I hate Risa at centre mid. I don't like it.
Change it then.
I know is it Desai just to solidify it,
or Amoroso as an attacking option? You could always put Simeone in this one here and put the more attacking player.
Do you think so? I mean, we can't touch.
No, I'm merely offering comment. You're in charge.
It's tricky. I didn't want to. I think I'm going to leave it. I think.
Going to leave it.
I think so, mate. I didn't want to be fucking.
What you've done there is perfectly responsible, completely understandable, but also a complete bottle job.
Absolutely, mate.
Final game of the night, 2-2. No changes for Sloths. We'll slow it down again as it is the last one of the night and see what we've got left with these 30 minutes or so to go. And there's another opportunity for Sloths. Saved and goes out for a corner, which comes to nothing. And now 20 minutes left to play. Rayed, Samak, Ronaldinho, Risa with the tackle. Rayed, Van Nistelrooy again, and they get a corner. Rayed steps up. Scully!
No, Scully.
Scully with his first ever goal for Leddersford makes it 3-2 to the home side. Have Sloths got one more in them? Not with the amount of minutes that went by then, but here they come. Simeone, Pizarro. Solari, Pasazoglu. Frade manages to clear. Here they come again. Simeone and Solari and Pizarro. No. And we're into injury time, for which I believe there was 4 minutes. And here's Ndiaye. Still Ndiaye. And it's a good save. Kerr picks up the loose ball and there's Rayed and Ndiaye with the header. And still the home side come forward, looking to absolutely wrap this up. Van Nistelrooy. Ronaldinho so close, but over the bar. And one last chance, maybe. No, it's again a counter-attack. And there's the full-time whistle. And it finishes Leddersford 3, Spartak Sloths 2. But what an excellent game that was from those two sides to wrap up this evening's entertainment. Congratulations to Tato. Commiserations, Hodgie, but a very, very entertaining game. So we've got in the chat, Greasy saying Tato is windmilling now. Yen saying, how can that defensive tactic score 5 goals in 2 games for the night? Referring to the Gazelles team playing it as well. Tato saying, got away with that one. Tricky formation to play against. Well played, Hodgie. And Yen's congratulating Mr. Piers. Let's have a look at the home side first. Ronaldinho picking up man of the match for his brace. But look at Ndai there doing what he does best. And Neil Scally proving to be the match winner.
Just a solid home win there. That formation that Sloss used, it was a bit tricky, but I think Ronaldinho stepping up to the plate. I'd love to see Mark Kerr in that AMC role. I don't know what's the rules on you retraining players, Fife. Is it ever something you've ever done, or is it just too much of a fucking hassle? Or
I don't necessarily think I'd be adverse to it. No one's ever asked me.
No, it's just because I know Kerr, he's one of them that does retrain. I mean, he's amenable. He'll retrain as an AMC or a DMC. Maybe worth something Tato looking at. But no, a good solid win there. So I feel a bit bad for Sloss, but I would generally wasn't wanting to fuck about with things. I think it was overly fair if it was like an injury or something. But well done to Tato, and I think he should be in the top 6 by now. I think he should be above the dotted line.
Well, we'll shortly find out. As for Sloth's decent performance for the goalkeeper and the wing backs, Pereira, the man who was brought into the lineup for this game, is the man that disappointed. Risa, you said all the way through and before that you didn't like it. He was distinctly average, but apart from that, it was all right by Sloths. They were very much in the game, and the performance wasn't atrocious.
It wasn't. I don't know. Was there something on with Rosicky? I would always have Rosicky centre mid over Risa.
No, Rosicky was in the team, and he was in the team last week, and then he got dropped for this one for Simeone, who obviously scored. So that was a decent decision.
Absolutely. If it was a straight swap for Simeone, then yes, absolutely. But I didn't like John Arisa in centre mid. I know he's tried Haman. He's obviously got a gap to fill, but is it maybe worth trying to play an AMC and chucking Amoruso or even Desai in centre mid? I know he's old, but I just can't get on board with Arisa in centre midfield. That aside, it's not the worst performance, is it? I mean, it's pretty reasonable. He nearly snuck it. He's got to be relatively happy with that away from home, I think, against a good Leathersford side.
Absolutely. That concludes the action for tonight. So let's go through the classifiers. We had Churchtown 1, Halls 2. Halls coming from behind, Churchtown finishing with 10 men. Dudley Hill absolutely stealing one in the end against Dragons 1-0. We had the classic Haggis 2, Gazelles 3. Gazelles continuing their good form. Quite a few goals tonight because the game underneath that was also 3-2. The one that we've just finished with, Leadersford 3, Sloths 2. Then we had Loco, the new look attacking Loco, beating Bostock Stanley 3-1. Northern Burn actually turned up and beat Astor 3-0, and Fulchester continue not to concede and score goals as they won 2-0 away at Devils, as Liam Piers says, #Duggan out, and Greasy threatens, Ian, I'm coming. Let's have a look at the league table. So we've got Fulchester first on 27, Haggis second on 24, and then we've got Loco have leapfrogged Dudley and Devils into third on 20. So 4 points the gap between you and that cluster of teams, Ian. So Loco, Dudley and Devils all on 20. Leadersford, you were right, have gone above the dotted line. They are on 18. Then we've got Churchtown 16 alongside Halls on 16. Astor only 3 points below the dotted line on 15. Then Gazelles and Bostock on 14. Dragons on 13. And then we have Sloths 9 and Burn slowly creeping up the table, points wise if not positionally, on 7 points. So it's still looking quite tight as we approach the halfway stage. We don't forget there is the announcement regarding transfers on Sunday's show as well. Will there be any? Will there won't? I know there's been plenty of speculation. Let's have a look at the fixtures that will precede that announcement. I don't remember. Have we already got someone lined up for comms on Sunday, Ian?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I can't remember. But if you're interested, by all means, let me know before Sunday, and we will get that sorted. The top game, look at that, Churchtown v Dudley. What a game that could be. Fulchester Bostock. Hull's Astor, Leddersford at home to Haggis. Probably not what you wanted to see after their win tonight. Then we've got Loco against Dragons. Northern Burn at home to Gazelles. That'll be a test of both sides' resurgences. And then we've got Devils against Sloths, the battle of the former managers. Very interesting. Quick fire round of stats. What sort of stats would you like, Mr. Pierce? Should we do players? We've got average ratings. We've got goals. Montella, Van Nistelrooy, and Hussein all on 7. Assists. Seedorf leading the way on 7. Then we've got yellow cards. Nesta and it looks like Jeremy's is going to be banned. Rustico's going to be banned. Nesta's going to be banned on their 7 yellow cards. Red cards. Montero, as we saw, was suspended today. He's already had 3. We were saying on Sunday, we don't know what Rob's done to him. He'd had 1 red card in like 4 seasons and already had 3 this year. Pass completion. Titus Bramble leading the way on 86%. Big tit. Good lad. Tackles per game. Unsurprising to see some of these names at the top. Top 5. I mean, Jeremy's is just about in there as well, unsurprisingly. Dribbles per game. Ryan Giggs and Zé Roberto leading the way there. And shots on target. Ruud van Nistelrooy, 85%. Let's have a look at this as well, just for lols. Home form, Loco, top of the league. 6 wins and 1 defeat from their 7 home games. You're second there in home form, 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat, Ian. It's very good at home. Away, Fulchester, unbeaten, as are Devils, remarkably, despite their poor form recently. The top 2 away sides, Sloths, bottom of that particular table, and Burn, bottom of the home table. Ian, thank you very much for your time this evening. It's been enjoyable as ever.
Thank you again, Fifey. One of these times I will get where I'm just sitting and I can just get to chill and I'm not having to walk like 6 miles fucking in Edinburgh. At one stage I did pass a group of folk drinking at the mute. I was going to comment, but we were kind of going with the flow. I was tempted to get them on the mic, but I thought I better no. But no, it's been great, Fifey, as always, mate. Pity about the result. I fucking knew I was going to get beat, if I'm being honest. I think I've ever won in commentary. Got back to when Ryan fucking Kiddie Donald scored, remember? I had a bad connection and Ryan said, "Oh, you've scored." And I was cheering like a fucking wee girl. And it was... So I've not got much success on comms, but I've done my bit now. So thank you for having me.
No, absolute pleasure as always. I'm just relieved that we've managed to get you home safely, and I haven't had to desert the stream at any point to go and cough up a load of blood. I've managed to discreetly deal with that during the games. But no, thank you very much. PAX will be out sometime tomorrow night. I can't say exactly what time because I am at the wedding of Smuts to soon to be Mrs. Smuts. So it will be whatever time I get home from the wedding, I will do the PAX. The halfway point, game week 13, will be live on YouTube, 9 p.m. on Sunday. Co-commentator to be announced. From Ian Campbell and from myself, from game week 12 at Super League HQ. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
Cheers over there.